Is it cheating to make music with AI generators such as Udio or Suno? Until recently, you had to know at least something about music to make it. Now, anyone can make music with just the click of a button, which naturally kind of feels like cheating to a lot of people. What would cheating even mean in the context of music? We'll come back to answer that in a minute. Some people would say that it's just a tool like any other, and that people always complain when new technology comes about, and that's fair. But is generative AI music just another tool, or is it fundamentally different in some important way? Recording and music production has not been around for very long, and it has evolved so much. There was a time when you had one recording you could make, it was fixed, everyone had to play into one microphone, and the quality was not very good. Then there were advances that allowed for multiple microphones, to play into tape, to be able to actually cut and edit tape, which allowed for multi-tracking and a whole bunch of other creative processes, expanding the capacity, but also, of course, cheating in a certain way. And this has only expanded as recording has become digital, allowing us to manipulate it in so many different ways. Comping allows you to make a perfect take out of several imperfect ones, really lowering the bar for perfect execution. Samples and drum loops allow you to produce tracks with instruments you don't play without hiring session musicians. Presets allow you to use synth sounds that you have no idea how to make. MIDI packs allow you to write songs with chord progressions you don't begin to understand and would never have thought of otherwise. And now, AI music generators allow you to make a track in a click of a button with just a few words as a prompt. And if thinking of a word or two as a prompt is still too difficult, you don't even have to do that. You can just click the button to have one generated for you. So we come back to the central question, is this cheating? Well, to cheat, we need to have established rules that are being broken. All of these technologies have broken the ideas of what competency should be necessary to make music previously. But were they ever established rules? In the end, nobody can agree on rules for music making, so it quickly becomes a matter of personal opinion and what your personal standards are. It's fair for me to consider a multi-instrumental genius like Prince or Kendall Burks to be a greater musician than some guy who doesn't play any instruments and makes a similar track with all samples. And that doesn't mean that building a track with samples doesn't require some skill. Certainly does, just not the same level of playing all the instruments, and for my personal standards is not as impressive to me. In the classical world, the standard is perfect or nearly perfect execution pretty much all the time. It's crazy. So I could certainly make a classical recording by comping together 100 different takes, but it would make sense, based on the standards of the classical world, for people to feel that that was cheating and to respect me less as a violinist than a performer who executes perfectly in one take. An important side note: if I am cheating, then who am I really cheating? I'd say I'm only cheating myself. Comping together 100 takes will certainly make me much better at comping together takes smoothly, but it probably won't do very much to help me learn how to play through it perfectly in one, which I'd say is probably a more valuable skill for me. Maybe the recording of 100 takes put together in the end sounds identical to the recording of one great take, so the end product of the recording in the end is the same. But the real and most important end product is me. Who I become and the skills I develop will be very different depending on my process. Check out my other video for a deeper dive on that. So we figured out why some people consider use of these technologies to be cheating, more based on their personal standards than formalized rules. So now we have to come back to the question of if AI-generated music is just another step forward in music technology, or if it's fundamentally different in an important way. What seems different about AI generation to me is just how quick and effortless it is to imitate what human musicians work really hard to create, but now without needing any skill, creative vision, or musical understanding whatsoever. That feels more like cheating to me. What about to you? Regardless of who considers it cheating or whatever, the speed and effortlessness of AI creation also opens the door for AI music to drown out the human music that it trained on without permission. Any question of cheating also comes with the question of fairness, and the RIAA has said, there's nothing fair about stealing an artist's life work, extracting its core value, and then repackaging it to compete directly with the originals. That seems like the bigger issue in this huge web of things to consider, and I explore it in this video. I also want to take a moment to recognize my bias as a highly trained instrumental musician. Yes, AI generators open the door for totally unskilled people to make music with no effort. But AI tools will also allow for advanced users to develop their skills and invest a lot of effort into creating in a new and highly technical way. AI music tools will be constantly evolving, and some small percentage of people who use them will really go deep into learning them and use them in extremely creative ways. And if that's you, my respect. So in my experimental album, Resistance is Futile, I decided to concentrate all of my attention on the organic elements, the violin, the djembe, some percussions, and to see if AI generators could do a good job with the electronic music parts, which to a certain degree has always belonged in the domain of the digital. Did I cheat by generating the electronic parts rather than building them from scratch? That's a matter of personal opinion. I'd say all opinions are valid. Might say that I cheated myself out of the opportunity to create my own electronic tracks, but I've done that and I love doing it and will continue to do it. And I feel like this generated something differently interesting, more conforming to electronic music genre norms than my personal stuff does. And I'd say just listen to the album and tell me what you think. In any case, I love you and I'll see you in the next video.